World of Tanks, well-deserved reward, KV-1SA. This vehicle is the well-deserved reward that I received when I logged into World of Tanks today. It does seem to be an autoloader, and it's okay. The specifications are okay. Nothing special about the armor, and the damage is kind of average. The penetration looks pretty good. Having good penetration on a vehicle is going to improve your games, especially considering that it is an autoloader. So the average damage is 110, which is similar to some other tanks in the game. Penetration is 120, which is pretty good. That's going to put you at the same penetration as tank destroyers, and that's using regular rounds. It is an autoloader. It says 4 seconds. Maybe it's an auto reloader because it says 4. I can't see very well. 6.7, 7, 7, 8, 7, 10, 6. The reload is 37 seconds. The aim time is 2.4, which is kind of average. The dispersion is 0.43, which is really bad. And hull armor 75, turret armor 82. There's nothing special about that. And let's see about speed, 43 kilometers, so it's kind of an average speed. Might be a little bit slower than other vehicles. This is a Tier 5 heavy tank, by the way. I'm going to add this to the comparison with a few other vehicles, such as the KV 220. Sorry that it's going to be a little bit slow. And I'm going to throw in some other heavy tanks from other nations. Wow, that's it. Not a lot. And again, I apologize that my game is a little bit slow right now. Normally I add them in advance. Okay, so we're going to look at these vehicles. See how it compares. I'm not a big fan of the KV style tank, and that KV 220, it's got to be a good performing tank because it's hard to get gun marks. You can see that the average damage 110 is common with all these vehicles. The penetration, look at that 120. It's better than all these other tanks. It says auto reloading, which means it's an auto reloader. I guess it has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 shells. That's going to put it above the rest. Playing as an auto reloader means that you're going to be able to play it as a regular tank, and you're going to be able to play it as an auto loader in some form by hiding, waiting to reload everything, and then going and shooting all your shells. The aim time, you see, is 2.4. It's actually the worst out of all these vehicles. 1.98 is really good for the T14. What that means is that because it has a long aim time, it's not going to do well sniping. Long distance, not going to be so good. And the dispersion, see, it's 0.43. Over here, it's 0.39. 0.39 is definitely close to the best you can get, and 0.43 is close to the worst that you get. There's other vehicles that are worse, but that's a bad number. In terms of armor, nothing special about the armor, but not only that, 3 of these tanks have better armor in terms of the hull, and in terms of the turret, they all have better armor. So you're getting one of the worst armored heavy tanks for all the premium tanks with this vehicle. Top speed is 43, which is the fastest, but then it still is pretty slow. When you're playing in a battle against alongside of medium tanks, you know, they're going to have that speed advantage. Now keep in mind, the reason why it has weaker armor is that's how they balance the vehicle. They give it a strength, which is the high penetration, the auto reloader. They give it the weaker armor. which also does make it a little bit faster. So it's part of balancing the vehicle out, otherwise it would be too overpowered. I think based on these specifications, it is a good vehicle. I would be happy to play this vehicle in Tier 5. And of these vehicles, if you had to buy one, I don't know if they'll make it available for sale. I really like the Churchill style tanks. I have amazing games with the Excelsior, which is why I already have the second gun mark. Maybe I have the second gun mark on the Churchill also. And I like the T-14. I like playing those tanks. The KV-220 I'm not that crazy about. But I have the feeling because of the auto reloader and the penetration, you're going to like playing this tank. So if you get one, going to be good. We're going to go back to the KV-1SA. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 crew members. That means you're going to be able to train your Soviet crew. There are tons of Soviet premium vehicles. These are heavies alone right down here on the bottom. So you're going to be able to share your crew with all those vehicles. Plus, you'll get used to playing the KV style vehicle, which is common in the tech tree. And it includes the KV5 here and other vehicles. Obviously, there is only one radio operator. Some vehicles have 2 radio operators. If you use a special crew member, you're going to want to put that as your commander or your gunner or your driver, not so much with the radio operator or loader. Okay, so that's it for this vehicle. In terms of equipment, you're probably going to want something to improve the aim, and I would also consider something to improve the speed. If you don't know what to do, always put vents, because vents improves a variety of statistics. So if you don't know what to do, it's always a good choice. Also, I recommend you play a game first before you decide how you're going to equip it. Putting something like Coded Optics is a good idea if you don't know how to play the game and you just want to passively get some sort of a benefit. But then again, depending on your playstyle, you might not do spotting with this vehicle. I happen to get good spotting numbers with my vehicles. The turbocharger will give you the additional speed, which gives you an advantage in the game because obviously when there's fewer tanks in the game, speed becomes more important. You have to be able to run over. You have to be able to run all over the map and be faster than your allies to go after remaining targets. I usually put improved aiming, the enhanced gun laying drive, and the improved rotation mechanism is for when you are going out, firing, and going back into a hiding position. Improved aiming is good for sniping. Enhanced gun laying drive, good for sniping. There's people who don't like the improved aiming, but what they don't understand, always get the benefit. With the gun laying drive and the rotation, you do not always get the benefit. You have to be stationary with one, you have to be moving with the other. With this, it always works. And you can aim in further at long range. So if you're sniping long distance, you can aim better. And at close range, you're going to be, from the start, aiming better for close range targets. So there's a lot of good things about this particular piece of equipment. Okay, those are my comments. If you have any questions or comments, please post below.